Hey guys, welcome to Raw Customs. I'm your host, Patrick Capolo, and on this episode, we're going to be making a Wakanda shield. So yes, I have templates as well as a kit. If you're interested in either one of those, just head down to the description area below. You'll find the links there. So the kit comes with all your foam pieces cut and ready to glue together. If you're going to go the template route, you're going to need 2 sheets of 5mm foam, 12 by 18 inch sheets, as well as a sheet for the overlay pieces. You could use 2mm foam or 3mm foam, whichever you prefer, or which is easier to find for you. Now, as far as the shield itself goes, it does have just a little bit of adjustment. As far as the handle goes, you can slide this up or down, whichever you prefer. Put it just where you want it. I set mine about an inch to an inch back from the little edge here. On the back strap piece, the same thing. You can move it forward or back, and you could even cut down just one side of it and make the actual strap a little bit smaller to fit your forearm better, if that's what you want to do. Now in the video, I do cut a shallow cut from end to end on this with the razor. If you're not comfortable with that, guys, just don't do it. Just heat it up, press it down, and make the bend. I like to actually make shallow cuts when I'm making a sharp bend on something this long. It helps to actually keep the bend actually straight when it comes down. So if you're up for that, I do recommend it, but if you're not comfortable with it, just don't do it. Now, also, since I actually filmed the tutorial, I did make a change on the main body of the shield. So as soon as the tutorial gets started, you'll see where you glue the back piece in to the main shield. And the original one, the square on the back, was a lot smaller than this. So I've actually sized this up to go together. It will go together the exact same way as it does in the video. It's just a larger piece. And the reason I did that is so it would fit in the box for shipping, in a smaller box, to keep the cost of shipping down for you guys. Now, as far as this shield goes, I actually love it. It's just fun to put on and play with. This thing could be deadly if it was made out of steel. And as far as my wish list goes, one of the things I want to get is a CNC plasma cutter. And if I ever get one of those, this will be one of the first projects I make out of steel, just because I think it would be awesome to actually be able to stab through some brick or into some wood, something, just actually have fun with this, because if I try to do it with the foam, I would just collapse it. This is a prop and it's just for show, but it's still fun to put on and play with, and you know, it's just a fun project. Ooh. I messed that up. I knocked some paint off of this sucker. These things are bad. All right, guys. All right, guys. Now it's time to get to the video. See how to put these shields together. For this build, you're going to need the kit or the templates. If you go with the templates, you're going to need 2 sheets of 5mm foam and 1 sheet of 3mm foam, as well as contact cement, some tape, PLASTI dip, spray paint, a heat gun, a rotary tool, and a razor knife. Start with the top and the back piece for the top. For glue, I recommend contact cement. Apply glue to the back edge of the main body and the front edge of the back square. I recommend applying 2 coats of glue to all edges. Once your glue is set, you can press the back piece into place. Take your time and keep the top surface edges flush. Next, lay out your overlay pieces on top of the shield. This part's basically like a puzzle, but a simple one. Lay out your overlay pieces in the matching reference lines. Once they're laid out, you can use a pencil or a marker to mark their location if it helps you out. I didn't do this in the video. Now you can start applying your glue to the bottom surface area of the overlays and in the reference lines on top of the shield. I recommend doing this 1 to 2 pieces at a time. Just for a side note, on the surface areas I only use 1 layer of glue. Once your glue's set, you can line up your pieces and press them in place. Once you get to the large piece at the front, it might help you to have a second set of hands, so they don't fall and glue themselves down. If you don't have anyone to help you out, you can always use some tape to tape the piece back to the table, or use some scrap foam and lay it in between the pieces. As you can see, I decided to do it the hard way. On the outside strip, it is thin, so as you lay it down, it may stretch a little bit. If this happens, you can just cut it even at the back of the shield. My advice when gluing the edge down is not to pull it. Just line it up and lay it down as you work your way down the edge. Now grab the front pieces for the bottom section of the shield, and repeat the process of laying out your overlays and gluing them down. Once your overlays are glued in place, grab the back section for the lower section of the shield. Apply glue to the back edge of the front piece and the front edge of the back piece. And once the glue's set, you can press your two pieces together. This part isn't necessary for the build, so if you're not comfortable, then I don't recommend doing it. Next, take a straight edge and line it up between the front point and the back point on the bottom side of the lower shield. Then take a razor and make a very shallow cut along the edge of your straight edge. This will allow you to get a more accurate bend. Now use a heat gun and heat both sides of your piece. This heat seals it and allows you to form it. Once your piece is heated, make a sharp bend along the center. Using the edge of a table can help you to get this started. You're wanting to give this piece a small angle along the center. On the top portion of the shield, you can repeat the process of making your small cut, heating, and bending the shield. Another method for bending your shield is just to use a straight edge and bend up one side. It's always a good idea to try different methods and see what works best for you. Now with your sections laying face down, place the bottom section down on the main shield and line up the back points of both sections. Then bend the sections up until the back edges of both pieces are even. With the edges even and flush, you can use some tape to temporarily hold the pieces together. On the front of the shield, bend your sections and make the front outside edges flush. Then you can use your tape to hold everything in place. Next, flip the piece over and mark a reference line along the outside edges of the bottom section and along the top of the bottom section where it sticks out from the top of the shield. Next, apply glue to the bottom surface area of the top of the shield and between the reference lines you marked, and to the top surface of the bottom section from your reference mark to the back. Next, glue your pieces together starting at the back points of the shield. Glue together your back points and then flip it over while leaving a gap between your two pieces. Then line up the top center with the center point on your reference line and press the points together. Flip the pieces back over and press the pieces together along the center between your front and back points. Then line up your back edges and press them together. Next, line up the front edge on one side, press it together keeping it flush. Then work your way down the side, pressing your pieces together, making sure to keep your edge lined up with your reference line. Then repeat everything on your second side. Now grab the two foam pieces for your handle and your wooden stick. Use a razor to cut off one side of the stick. Then lay it on top of the short piece to get a measurement. Then cut off the second side where it will fit in between the two reference marks. Now apply glue between the reference marks and to one side of your stick. Next, center the stick and glue it in place. Now apply glue over the entire surface area of this piece and to the entire surface area of one side of the long piece. Line up one side of the long piece on the edge of one of your scrap pieces of foam. On the short piece, bend it down along the reference line. Line it up along your scrap piece and glue it to the top. Hold the bend at 90 degrees and fold the top piece down. Let the top piece roll around the corner as you glue it down. Make sure to keep the edges flush as you glue your pieces together. Once you get to the other side, make your 90-degree bend and then roll over your top piece. You should have a little bit of hangover on your second side. You can use a piece of foam to mark your depth, then make a reference line and cut off the extra with a razor knife. Once your piece is glued together, you can use a rotary tool to round over your edges and clean your piece up. The handle glues down at the front of the shield. There's no particular placement for this, just whatever works best for you. Set it in place and make reference marks where the handle is set. The handle makes contact with 3 surfaces on the shield. Make sure and apply glue to all the surfaces that the handle touches, and to the 3 edges at the bottom of the handle. With the glue set, you can press your handle in place. Next, grab the big piece for the back strap. Heat it and curve it into a U shape. At this point, I recommend placing your arm in the shield and grabbing the handle, and adjusting the strap to where it fits you best. Then make reference marks on the edges for its position. If the strap is too large for your arm, you can always cut off an end and shrink it down to fit your arm better. This was not done in the video. Now grab the top portion of the strap, heat it, and bow it into a U shape. On the main body of the strap, apply glue to the top surface area between the reference lines and to the bottom surface area of the top overlay. Then press the 2 pieces together starting from one edge and work your way to the opposite side. Hold the bow on the bottom section while you apply the overlay. Next, set your strap in place. Then trace around the ends
to mark reference lines for glue. Apply glue to the edges and the inside surface area along the edge, and to the marked area on the shield. Once the glue's set, you can press your strap in place. To prep for paint, you can wrap a popsicle stick with tape with the sticky side up, and then place your smaller detail pieces on the tape. To seal the foam, I recommend using PLASTI dip. I recommend using 2 light coats followed by 2 heavy coats. Once the PLASTI dip's dry, you can use spray paint to paint your parts. I recommend using silver on your small detail pieces and a matte black on the shield. I recommend spraying on 1 light coat followed by 1 to 2 heavy coats. Once your base coat's dry, you can tape it off for any additional colors. I recommend using super glue to glue on the detail pieces for the strap. And to finish everything up, I recommend 2 coats of clear.
Alright guys, there you go, the Wakanda shield. This is one of my favorite builds that I've done so far, and it's actually pretty simple. It's one of the easiest kits that I put out. So if you're looking to get started in making props and stuff like this and looking for something simple, or I wouldn't say simple, but easy, this is a good place to start. I'd really recommend this because there's not much forming of foam. Everything lays flat for the most part. The only real manipulation is in the strap and the handle up there. Everything else is pretty much just gluing pieces flat down on top of each other. So a very simple build to get started with, guys. So I am working on other tutorials as well. I'm trying to get out some of the stuff that y'all been seeing me put out for a while now, but I'm also working on other stuff as well because I love to make stuff. So sometimes I just want to get out of the house, get out in the building, and start building stuff or putting things together. So one of the kits that will be coming out later on down the line is Batman helmet based on the Arkham series there. But this helmet is so cool. I love Batman. Listen, you know, it's got tall ears, but I'm kind of into that type of Batman suit with the real high ears and stuff like that. So it's part of the reason I chose this. I'm also working on an old favorite, RoboCop. I mean, this is one of the best movies of the 80s. I've really enjoyed this when I was a kid watching it. I've probably seen it 300 times. That's a little bit exaggeration, but when I was young, we had a VCR. Movies were expensive to buy a movie, so you only got a few and you watch that thing over and over and over and over, which was a lot easier when you're a kid. But this is one I'm actually working on. This was not perfect. It's just a test build. But I'm working on getting this a little bit refined and looking a little bit better, especially the top's a little flat, so I need to get it domed over a little bit more. But not too bad for a first run. This is actually the first test build on this. But my favorite one right now is this bad boy. This is a Taskmaster helmet based off the Spider-Man 4 video game. Now I know the Black Widow movie has been put on hold, but Taskmaster is the main antagonist in that from what I can tell. And I really don't like the helmet that much. I mean, it looks okay, but compared to this is a much cooler helmet. And I wish they would have designed it closer to the way this one looks than the one I look on the movie. But I can understand they're trying to get, you know, probably something that the people can see out of better vision because this is, you know, limited. But this is still, to me, a lot cooler. So this is one I'm working on. I've actually, let me see here, got some LEDs in there. Now I put some mesh in this so you can actually see underneath through the bottom here. But really love this helmet. So this will be a kit. If y'all would like me to push this up past some of the other stuff, let me know in the comments because I haven't actually filmed a tutorial on this. This is the second test build on this. So I've got one more I have to actually make another one so I can film it and put it all together for the tutorial, guys. But if this is something y'all really would like me to push to the front of the line, let me know. But I've got so much other stuff I'm actually working on. I've got the chest armors back here that I've got tutorials on, or they're filmed, and I'm actually doing the editing till now. I've got the belts. I've done fixing to do the voiceover on that. I've also got the Wolverine helmet that I've got that filmed. The Captain America, I still have to make another one of those. So, you know, let me know what y'all want me to push to the front of the line, because they're all kind of in the middle of the tutorial. So I can pretty much just go ahead and finish this one up and then get it out to you guys. Well, all right, that's it for this video, guys. Be safe out there, guys. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.